During balance, the big triangles that would balance on, falling on the instruments. That was pretty bad, but it was a good memory.
The funniest moment I had was whenever it was during balance, and me and Nick were on tenors, and we were walking back after practice, and Nick didn't see the curve, and he ended up falling with the tenors on. I found that to be really funny. He wasn't hurt. He was okay. But that's pretty funny.
That's really hard, and I've been thinking about it, and I'm just gonna say one. So there was this one competition, I think it was Clayton, and there was a senior handing out awards, and every single time someone would win an award, he would yell so loud you could hear from across the football field. So Cole thought it would be a good idea to start yelling back at him. And so for 45 minutes, Cole just had a yelling match because the guy across could hear him. So for 45 minutes, this dude and Cole just had a yelling match.
When we had our first parent preview show for Red, White, and Blues, and me and Eli brought the batons, Mr. Mead did not know. And then when we whipped him out, it was pretty great, and everyone laughed. And then it wasn't funny after when we had to talk to Mr. Mead.
My favorite memory from band is when my sophomore year, when we made semifinals in Ohio. That season was particularly hard because we had to change the entire show right after Winterfest. And we had put so much work into it and everything, and we went on the floor on prelims, and we were like, this is our last show, this is all we're gonna have. So we left it all on the floor. And then when we got back to the hotel, we were like looking at the scores, trying to find out if we had made semis. And then we figured out we made semis, and everyone realized about the same time. And we all ran out into the hallways. We were like crying, we were jumping up and down, we were screaming, laughing, everything. And it was just great.
I think one of my favorite memories is from my freshman year when we stayed in a hotel room in, this was West Virginia, and I was with Hudson, Garrett, and Jason. And for some reason we froze an apple and we started throwing it at each other. I don't know why we did it, but it's one of my favorite memories.
Anytime I was in a hotel room. Yeah.
When after a performance we were on the trailer and Mario like fell off the trailer and was like dangling out.
My favorite moment was my sophomore year. It was for the show Balance, and it was during band camp, and Mr. Franklin was getting really upset because everyone was passing out from dehydration, and he kept saying, I'm tired of seeing people passing out, you guys need to start drinking water. And as soon as he said that, Natasha passed out, and I blacked out, and apparently he didn't get mad, but I thought it was kind of funny because it kind of defeated the purpose of what he said. And that was my favorite moment.
It's probably when we got off the field at finals this year, because it meant a lot to me, and I didn't think it was going to until it happened. And I just kind of like broke down because it was a big deal. We hadn't made finals in 6 years, so it was probably that.
There have just been so, like, the entire memory of being in the program doesn't really fall, like, whether or not it was good isn't about like one thing, because at times it sucked and at times we've had a blast, but whenever you think back, you just think of the whole you partaking in the program over those 4 years was its own thing. And it's like a soup, you know, like every part is in there. You don't really want to take them out because that'd be weird. You just kind of want to experience the whole thing as itself. So, I mean, just performing, having the opportunities to get on stage, be with your friends, it's just, the whole entire thing is just something you can't explain, really. You just kind of have to experience it.
I have a lot of favorite memories, but my favorite memory deals with myself, and it's when I got hit in the nose with a rifle and a flag at the same time, and I bled like crazy on the tarp and on the concrete, and everybody had my blood all over them.
So, for some reason, freshman year,
there was a soccer ball there as we were walking back into the parking lot after our lunch break during band camp, and Drew went up to kick it, and he completely missed. And like a cartoon, his foot just kind of swung up in the air, and he landed flat into his butt on the asphalt, and only like a few people saw it.
Probably Delaware last year. It was I was in the hotel room with me, Mike, Jonathan, and Alex Reams, and it was day one when we got there. So you gotta believe it's pretty good. It's about 11 o'clock at night, almost midnight, and Alex Reams was out cold on the bed, and so like snoring and everything. It was actually kind of horrible. But so. We decided we wanted to mess with him, and so we threw a pillow at his face. And his head flopped to one side, and he didn't wake up. So then we got this genius idea to play a game of ricochet off his face. And so we just kept lobbing pillows off his face and catching them on the other side of the room. And then just continued to beat him in the face with pillows. And he still didn't wake up, so then we just decided to give up, and then in the morning we went right back at it, trying to see if he would finally wake up.
I think my favorite, or the one that's like most impactful for me, was when we all kind of gathered in the band room when Cole passed away, and we all talked about it, and we all kind of had a powwow, and it meant a lot because even people from past years came back, and it was kind of like it showed that we were a family, and that no matter what happens, we're always going to be there for each other, and we're never going to lose any of the people that leave when they graduate.
When in Georgia, when I was rooming with Hudson, Jasek, and Drew, when we turned the air all the way down and turned it to on, and so I wake up in the middle of the night and it is literally Antarctica in our room, and I don't have a blanket, so I have to curl up on the edge of Jasek's bed because I don't want to get under the covers with him.
My favorite memory from band is probably making finals in Western, because it's the first time I've ever made finals during fall season.
My freshman year at JMU, I was behind Drew, and we had buckets, and he fell over, and it was the funniest thing ever, and it was just hard to do my work because I just kept laughing at him. But
Freshman year at JMU competition, I was with Isaac, Alan, and this guy named Marcus. We were all rooming together, and he threw this bag of metal at me. And it wasn't dangerous, it was just hilarious because I was stunned, and we were all joking about it afterwards. One time, my freshman year, when the two hornline captains were in charge because Mr. Franklin was somewhere, and they're like, you know what, I'm actually going to save that moment for later, not for a video. We should go on.
The open guard went to Ohio, and we performed at Simi's. At the very end of our show, Kristen Hatcher and I looked at each other and hugged each other because we were holding hands at the very end. And that was a really emotional moment for us because we had done everything right, and it was great. And then Lauren and I looked at each other and ran up to each other and hugged each other.
I don't know, it was always the brass that would lose their balance and fall off. And then carrying the props while somebody's on it and playing at the same time. That was that's probably my favorite memory. Carrying people while playing their solo.
For guard practice, I wear shorts underneath my sweatpants in case I get hot. And I had been walking around with my sweatpants on my ankles, and I bent over to pick up my sweatpants, and for some reason Johnny had a camera that day, and he was just taking pictures at random times, and right when I bent over he took a picture and the flash happened, and I was bent all the way over picking up my sweatpants. And that's just a funny thing that happened to me.
I decided to do band because my grandfather was a drum major and my mom was a clarinet section leader at Cary High School. So it's just something that's always been ingrained. Since day one, I went to Cary Band Days and watched parades. So it's something that I've always wanted to do.
Why did I decide to do band? I actually decided to do band because I just enjoy music. and that's really the only reason. Marching band, it was kind of delayed. I only did 2 years, my junior year and my senior year. And I think that's probably my biggest regret is doing it as late as I did, but I'm happy that I did the seasons that I did do.
That was mostly just because I did band in middle school, was what I was used to. I wanted to try it out, and I ended up loving it.
I decided to do band because I love music and I loved the people that were involved with band, and it's always a fun time.
I did band in guard. Kind of a funny story. I sort of forced into it my 8th grade year because I had 2 older sisters in, and then they had a trumpet player who quit, and then my mom's like, I have a trumpet player, she'll do it. I didn't really get a say in it, but it's fine.
My friend Michelle pushed me to do it, and I did it. I didn't know what I was really getting myself into because I didn't know what marching band really was. So, yeah.
All my friends are doing it, and I heard people get really excited about Winter Guard my 8th grade year, or actually my 7th grade year, and then they had it again my 8th grade year, and I was like, okay, I'll do it.
Because I did band in middle school, and like my teacher was like really into it. It was like, and they gave me a free season, so like, why not?
All right, so when I was a freshman, I came to an interest meeting, and I thought it was pretty cool, but I didn't want to do it because I wanted to focus on my grades. And then my brother, Jarrett, or known as Peanut, and lovely Samuel Jacob Higgins, peer pressured me into it, so that's why I joined band.
Favorite show and why? My favorite show is Cloudscapes, hands down. It's the first show I ever did, so that's got a unique flair in of itself. But it's probably my favorite show because of the people, the seniors that were in that show. Some of my favorite people, Kyle and Hugo and Travis and Sam above all others, really. And then just like the whole show in of itself, like the actual arrangement, the Grand Canyon arrangement is amazing. And being able to put something as crazy as that in a marching show is just, it's genius, and it's just a good show altogether.
Probably Red, White, and Blues, because I was the head drum major, and instead of the Cloudscapes where I just kind of stood on the 35 the whole time. But it was really fun to conduct for the whole band.
My favorite show would be Cloudscapes, and it's mostly just because of the big hit we had at the end with Blue Skies, where Jason had a solo and Drew carried on with it, and then the entire ensemble just came in with it right after Drew did.
That was a good show. I did like Into the Winds, but was that my favorite? I don't know if I can decide. No, next question.
I think my favorite show, as far as, because this year was awesome because it was my senior year, so obviously I had to fall in love with the show. It was a jazz show, big solo. That was so much fun. But last year, Cloudscapes was so. It was. We just got the system polyphoniums and the tubas, and we had this long show filled with tons of different music. Ended with a jazz kind of. That's a weird question too. That's hard. We won't even do that. I don't know.
My favorite show was probably Ascension because it was my first show and I was just really into it.
Freshman year was a weird show. Just cause so many things were just, it was just awkward, it didn't feel like our show. It was just, the music was kind of weird. Sophomore year was great. Balance year was so cool. We got to march trombones. We had that awesome feature. It was always cold, but we had our shirts off anyway. The little brass. We didn't even have any seniors, so it was just like, we felt like a young band, but we were still kicking butt. Went to Georgia. That was so cool. And then Cloudscapes. We just got new horns. It was crazy, hard music. We felt like we were growing up that year. And if, we were, goodness gracious, we were getting it felt like West had restarted my freshman year. It felt awkward, and so each year after that, we were building up more and more. So Cloudscape year, it felt like we were getting ready to peak, and that year was killing it. And the solo was cool. I mean, I can't ever complain about that. That was so much fun, being able to play Ella Fitzgerald. That was great. Blue Skies. And then this year, you know, it's because I saw what happened my freshman year, and the seniors kind of it felt like they got screwed out of of a good show their senior year. And so I was nervous coming into this year with a new director, but luckily that did not happen, and we ended up killing it at Western Carolina, and we had a really good show. So I'm grateful that I got to end with an awesome show.
Traverse, even though it's a pretty bad show, I think that's the one I enjoyed the most. I don't know, it was my freshman year. I was so lost, but I remember I enjoyed it a lot. I think more than any year, because I just got the hang of it and it became a routine. But my freshman year, I didn't know how to play my instrument. I didn't know how to march. I didn't go to band camp. I just kind of showed they put me in a spot. So that was my favorite show.
My favorite show is Cloudscapes because I think that's where we reached our highest peak, I guess, for us seniors, and yeah, we were just really good.
My favorite show is Hotline. Oh, I'm wearing the shirt for it. That was my favorite show overall because we had to remake the show halfway through the season because the judges were like, it's not working. So we pretty much started over in February, and and our season ended like 2 months later, and we got to Dayton and we performed in prelims, and it kind of just all fell together, and we did really good. We got into semifinals, which we haven't done since then, and it was like an amazing feeling that I've never had before, and I was like really proud of everybody, and I felt like the whole season was worth it to that moment. So
favorite show have to be Art of Balance. Had a pretty good bass beginning of movement 3 and how it matched with the tubas and the low brass.
Red, white, and blue. No, red and white blues. Sorry, because I set out some goals for the trumpet section and they were reached, and that's probably the first time the trumpet section's actually been fully heard for one season, and it was a pretty fun season. Besides people clapping for themselves.
Cloudscape, because it was just so good. It was just really fun. Follow people. Because everybody there was actually like, we're all close together. We're all just really close.
It's probably Cloudscapes because for some reason there was just this connection that we all had on the field, and it just happened. It was just fire. It was, and it was great.
I got a girlfriend. I have an idea of what career I want to go to, and I met Mr. Franklin and Mr. Mead. Next question.
I got a lot of friends out of it. I had a great 4 years of high school that sucked, but band made it good.
I used to be really shy, and I still am introverted, but I'm not as shy anymore. I'm not scared to like joke around with people or talk to new people or be myself.
I got pretty good at my instrument, I'd say. I think that definitely, it definitely got me to project a lot better. And I got to learn some weird combinations and figurings that just kind of strengthened my ability to play my instrument a bit better.
Mm, I don't know. I got to see the other side of people that you don't really see. You just see their faces. You just see what they present to us, but you get to know people and their other sides, what they're like. Just getting to know people. That's my favorite experience. Getting to make art and music with them. Yeah, that's it.
I got probably a really great group of friends that I plan on staying in touch with most of for the rest of my life.
I mean, there's just so much growth that I've, acquired. Like, as an actual person, I've learned to organize my stuff. I've learned to, set up a schedule, set up a to-do list, know what I have to do. And that's helped me in school, it's helped me in work, it's helped me in band. But I've been able to spend time with my friends and put myself in an environment where I know that I love what I'm doing. I just love playing music. And being around my friends it's just helped. That's only made it better. It wasn't a necessity, but then not only am I doing what I love, but I'm also part of a culture within that. So it's more than just the art. It's the social experience, and it's the emotional experience that you get with that too.
Through band, I met a lot of people that I'll probably be friends with for the rest of my life, and I learned a lot about music and the value of music.
Like before, I was kind of an introvert, but now I'm pretty comfortable talking to new people relatively. But now I'm comfortable with pretty much everyone in band.
I got the experience of how to work with other people, and you can translate that to other jobs. Because when you go out and work, you're dealing with a bunch of people, and band helps you figure out different ways to communicate with everyone else and work together.
I got a lot of friends who are now family to me, and I got a lot of fun memories.
Hard work, dedication, and friends. That's probably what I got out of it.
Hard work pays off.
I'm gonna say that, I came into this program and I didn't have friends. I was alone. And for the past 4 years, I have developed great relationships with so many people, and that would not have happened if I was not in this program. And I want people to look around and see who's around them and how many people care about them, and to really not take this opportunity for granted, because it means a lot.
Well, I want the band to know that they mean a lot to me, and I'm really proud of them. And I hope that they get as much out of band as I do, and I hope that they enjoy every second of it, because it goes by really quickly.
It's going to be so hard whenever I go to college, because this is just what I've known for so long. It's just, even middle school, just these 7 years have felt they felt like one big just chapter, like a really long chapter of my entire life. And I feel like whenever I move away and I don't see most of the people that I see every day anymore, and I'm in a totally different environment, I'm living with different people in a different place, I think I'm gonna be able to root myself in the memories that I've had here. And that's gonna be a very comforting thought, to think back and remember everything that's happened here, how much my life has changed because of it, all the people I've known, all the awesome things that I've gotten to do. And I'm gonna love making new memories with new people and new places, but I'm never gonna be able to forget doing this. It's completely changed me.
You can't really know what's gonna happen in marching band. It's just kind of something you have to experience yourself.
Don't clap for yourself. That's my other thought.